Hey guys, welcome back. After a long time, I'm going to create some video tutorials. So, in this video, what we are going to learn is something important. So nowadays, which is in trend. So sometimes we build some application, some project where we have multiple services, and we want to create some monorepo. Okay, so what is monorepo? Is something like we can manage all our microservices, or you can say micro front ends in terms of front end development in one repository. So this is very common in back end development. You might have seen it in other dependency management things. But what we are going to learn today is about PNPM, and with PNPM we are going to use the latest version of PNPM, not just the PNPM, but it's the latest version. So if you are trying to search somewhere, and if you are getting difficulty in doing all the configurations, so what we are going to do, we are going to set up all the things from scratch. You will also learn about how we can set up Webpack. Moving forward, we will also see like how we can use Vite, and we can also see roll up. So I plan to build a complete series. If I extend this series, I'll probably extending it to uh, micro front end tutorials is completely. So let's stick around and see how we can set up Monorepo. So I have this folder, right? And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create one folder here, and that would be something called, let's take an example of let's say HR platform. So we are building some HR platform, and where we can have multiple uh, applications, and those applications would be some kind of micro front end. So I will discuss like what we can have this, what are these application we can take it here as an example. So let's try to create one folder first, platform. All right. And in this folder, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open it in VS Code editor. So I will use code dot. Okay, and now what I can do, I'll just maximize it a little bit so that I have this, you can see it properly. All right. Now what I can do, uh, so in generally like when you are building some project, so you need packaging, right? And you need to know like what package manager you are using. You are using npm, pnpm, yarn. There are others as well, but in this tutorial series I'm going to use pnpm. So first thing you need to do is you need to just install uh, pnpm globally so that you can use pnpm cli, right? So you can use pnpm like this. I've already installed it, so I can skip this step, right? So once you are done, the next thing is like we need to set up we need to initialize our package. Okay, so this is a root directory right now. We'll be creating multiple applications inside it. So first of all, what we are going to do here, we are going to write pnpm init. In general, you might have seen in npm we used to write yes, or yeah, yes, for like finishing all the questions. In your version of pnpm, they have removed this yes. So if you will try to use it yes, it will show you warning, unknown option yes. So you can quickly, I mean, you can just skip the yes, and you can just write pnpm init, and it will do all the basic things for you. Generally we don't need too many things here. What we can do, we can remove this, right? For now we can remove this as well. If it will throw some error, we will get back here and update this. Okay, all right. Now the next thing is to create workspaces, I mean to create packages inside our root. We need to first initialize, we need to tell pnpm that we are going to use workspaces. So for pnpm we use a file, a special file for that, pnpm hyphen workspaces. Okay, my W is not working. Just hold on for a second. Yeah, now it's working. Workspace. It's not spaces, it's a workspace. And here we'll be using, typing it like something like this, packages and colon. If you're not aware of YAML syntax, then it's pretty straightforward. uh, to nest some property we use space, and for array, like, we use hyphens. So if we are not using hyphen, this is more like an object, and but if we are using hyphen here, then it's more like an array. So we can pass here like something apps and all the folders inside apps. So let me just where is the star? Okay, yeah, this one. And if you want to just like add path of one single folder, then you could have done something like that, job portal. So it would have find this try it would have tried finding this job portal directly on here, but I don't want to do this kind of thing. I just want to have all my application inside apps. All right. And you can have multiple locations as well, but for now let's keep it simple. And it is recommended to have everything inside this app. Why I'm saying recommended, the reason behind that is, until unless there is a specific region, you should keep your all the application micro frontends in one folder. That will help you uh, I mean, bundle things properly, easily, and otherwise, somewhere you'll find some path mistakes will happen. So now, for till now, we have package.json and PNPM workspace YAML. So now, this package understands like we need to use workspaces. Okay, as you can see, I'm using PNPM 10.5.2, which is latest. All right. Now, since we told PNPM that we are going to use workspace, and we are going to use this folder, I think single quote also works. Let's keep it single quote. So we also need to create a folder with the same name, apps. All right, I'm going to create some folder so if I create this way, mkdir apps and job portal, then what we can have, apps hr dashboard. Okay, let's create these two applications as of now. Now if I go here, I have this two folder. Okay, later on we can also create a shared folder, I mean shared package, which will not be a micro frontend, but it will act as a local package for all the micro frontends, right? And micro frontends can import that shared utilities or shared UI package that we are going to see later when we will be going in detail about micro frontends. So I'll be creating one different series for that. All right. So this HR dashboard, let's see what we can do next. So in terms of React, let's say when uh, we are trying to create a React application, we need few dependencies like React and React DOM. Okay, so how do you install these things? So in PNPM we generally do this way: PNPM add React and React DOM. And if you add -w, this will install it at root. Okay, workspace root. So if I install it now, so this got installed here. Instead of installing it this here in this and there, we are actually installing it in root. Okay, since this will be used in all the applications. So let's say if you have some application, let's say HR dashboard is on will be built, or we are trying to develop in Vue.js, and there's some other application which we are trying to develop in a Angular. In that case, I will not suggest you to keep it in the common place, since it is not going to be used in all the applications. So we can keep it in the individual application. Okay. Now, till now, like I hope it is clear. So we have React and React DOM in package.json. Now what we are going to do, uh, we are going to look into PNPM log file. So if I import, open it little bit. Okay, so if I try to install it again and see, uh, I should not have done this. Let me just delete it. I will quickly remove node modules. Don't do this mistake. Like if you are using PNPM, always use PNPM. Sometimes we by mistake, since it is our habit to write npm, so we can do that mistake. But when we install PNPM log, okay, I thought we will see all the packages here, like HR dashboard and job portal, but this is not coming here because we don't have package JSON here, so it is not able to identify. Okay, that's fine, that's fine, that's absolutely okay. Now what we are going to do, we are going to initialize package.json, or we are going to initialize project packages in these two folder. Okay, so to do that, what we are going to do, we are going inside job portal cd apps, and then job portal, and then what we are going to do, we are going to run pnpm init. Now we have packagation here. I will just rename it something like @hr slash job portal. Do I need this? Probably not. Okay, so although like we can keep it, we can keep the main. We'll have to provide give here the bootstrap file name, I mean the one which we are trying to trigger first, but that we can configure it later, I mean all the scripts and other things. So leave as it is rest of the things. What we are going to do, we are going to do the same thing in the HR dashboard. So I'll just quickly get back to the root, not root folder, parent folder in apps, and here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go into HR dashboard, and then I will be initializing this project as well. Now if I go in package.json, I have the same thing here. I will update all these things later, it is not required as of now. Now if I go back in root, and if I try to do npmi, am I seeing some changes? Now you will see we have these two entries here, so it knows about these packages PNPM. Okay, now what I'm gonna do here is, let's say we are going to create a project in React, and I mean the application in React, that application will be job portal. So what we need to do first, so I'll create few folders here. Let's say I'm going to keep all my files of React in HRC. I will need one public folder, and why I need public folder, I'll create one index.html here, and usually you might have seen that index.html just have some scripts if you want, otherwise it will just contain one element, div element, where all our where we will mount our component. So this should be id. Okay, so we are going to mount here in root div element. Okay, now what else, in hrc as of now I'm going to create one index.js. Also I'll create app.js, app.jsx. Okay, now let me create quickly one component app, and now this would be return div h2 job portal. Okay, you can export this as well, export app. I want to export it as default since this will be a kind of page. And in index, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna import react from react. I don't know if this will be needed. Later on we'll see, like if we are not using it we can make it global. For now I'm just showing you what we do in general to set up our react application from scratch. So in react 19 we'll need to import create root. Okay, not react dom. So now react create root is imported from react dom client. So we'll create one root here, and this root will be create root, and we are going to pass one element, div element, actually dom element. So document dot get element by id, and here what we are going to do, we are going to pass the name of the DOM element which we have defined in public here. And now how this both all these things will be integrated, like how this will find this HTML, we are going to see all these things, so don't worry about it. And now since we have this root, we are going to render one component, and that component will be app. We need to import it as well. Okay, fine. So okay, we have this thing ready. So generally first we call this index, and index will load our all the components. Okay, we can also fix this main path, and that would be hrc slash index.js. We can also use TypeScript, but let's keep it simple. We'll create one different application when we will be building micro frontend. We'll create one different application and mix all of those. Like we'll create one application with TypeScript, we'll create one application with JavaScript, we'll be using one application with Webpack, we'll be using one application with Rollup, we'll be using one application with wheat or white, I don't know what to call it, so that we can also use a bundler. All right, now okay, so here we have this thing. Now we cannot run it directly, right? So this is a Java's JSX, so we cannot run it, it won't work, it has nothing. If we will try to run it, will actually we cannot run since we have no dev server at all. So this will, if you try to run index, we will have to write node index, so that will not make sense, it will throw some error, syntax error. So now first thing we need to do, we need to configure Webpack. Now with Webpack we actually create a Webpack configuration file with something like webpack config.js, and to configure Webpack config we'll write some configuration here. But before that I want to install some essential modules, packages which we will be needing here. Okay, so let's add some packages. So what we are going to do here, so we are going to add webpack CLI. So we need to use webpack CLI to run our application, webpack dev server to run our server, and HTML webpack plugin. So this is the one which is responsible for injecting our bundle in index.html. So once the bundle is created, it will inject it here inside the script, and then dev server will run it. That's why it will be able to detect root, which I didn't explain it some time back, but told you that I'm going to discuss about it. So now you understand, like, this is the reason why it automatically detects it. So once the bundle gets created into JavaScript file in I mean just normal vanilla JavaScript, and it will be added here as a script, and when this will run as a part of this index HTML, then it automatically able to detect this root element. Okay, I hope this is clear till here. Now let's install it till here. So we can install this as part of say, for this project. If you want to do that, you can write filter, and then we can write hr dot this job portal. But let me show you how we can do this. I think I did some mistake here. Did I do some mistake? Let me check in packagation. All the steps are already downloaded. Webpack CLI, Webpack dev server, HTML Webpack plugin. So ignore. So now, as you see in job portal, in packagation, we have these plugins. If I go in root packagation, we don't have these plugins. Even if I go in HR dashboard, we will not see here this dependency. One thing I did, actually did a mistake. I should have installed all these as dev dependencies. So I will just update it, since these things will be needed during development. I mean running the application. Oh, or just keep it in the dependencies, since this will be required. We can move HTML Webpack plugin, but yeah, these things will be required to run our application. Okay. Uh, Sometimes when you build, you will find what error you are getting. As of now, let's keep it in the dependency. I don't want to complicate this, but later point of time I can explain what to keep in the dev dependencies, what to keep in the dependencies. Okay, that's a separate topic, so I'm just not want to confuse you here. All right, so now the thing is, we have these four dependencies here. We'll be adding more, and the reason behind I used filter is I just wanted to show how we can just add any packages, any our apps. And now, although we should have installed these here in the root workspace using -w, the reason behind that is we'll be using all this in every say application, but there is chance like we will be using different module bundler. So in that case, we'll not be needing Webpack here. So it's okay to have it here in the job portal. In case if you're using all the applications with Webpack, I would suggest you to keep it in the root. Okay, that's too much talking, and now what we are going to do, we are going to define module. We are going to configure our Webpack. To configure our Webpack, I am going to write some vanilla JavaScript here, and there are few properties which is important. So let me just type one of key of all these properties which is essential. Let's say mode, and I'll keep it empty as of now. Entry. Okay, entry you can also have object or array. Output, for now let's keep it object. Module, here we'll be adding rules. Plugins, so this will be an array, so we can add multiple plugins. We need to add dev server. This will be an object. One more thing I will need here, resolve. So what type of file we want to resolve? Okay, these are the essential things which we will be using. So let's define it step by step. We can pass here development. We can also take it from environment variable, something like process.env dot node env, and from there we can have here we can pass multiple entry. If we have single entry point, then we can write something like dot slash src slash index.js. Okay, and now next could we need to do is output public path. So this is something else, like public path is something where we are trying to run our application on what URL. So for now let's keep it auto. And one important thing here is like in output, how we are trying to make a bundle with what file name. So we can let's say we can give job portal bundle. Okay, so we can give this file name, and also we can pass extension. All right, in resolve there's a property called extensions. Okay, in extensions what we can do, we can pass all the extensions name in array. It will be .js and .jsx. If you are using TypeScript, you can also use TS and TSX. Then here it comes rules. Okay, so we'll be defining rules. So rules are something which is essential to let's say, let me define explain it properly. Let's say you are using React, so you cannot directly run React. So we'll be defining some rules, and we'll apply some loaders. So loaders are some kind of transformers, you can say. They will transform some code syntax into some other syntax with some methods. So loaders are like, they will load whatever files we are saying. Let's say we will say like Babel loader will ask Babel loader to load all the JavaScript files and transform it into convert all the React code into JavaScript code. Then it will be like, even if it gets bundled, browser will be able to understand it, otherwise browser will not understand it. So before we define all these things, let's do one thing. Let's define dev server port. So what will be the port? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just use 5001. Okay, and I will keep hot reloading true. Okay, now this hot reloading is true, so it will automatically do the changes. I mean, reload the opened tab on localhost 5001 whenever do some changes. And then let's define plugins. Without plugin it won't work. So we have installed this HTML Webpack plugin. I'm going to copy this, and in Webpack config, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna import just const HTML Webpack plugin. I should keep it in small, require, and this I need to require this. Okay, and now plugins. In plugins we can pass multiple plugins. So I'm just passing my HTML Webpack plugin. When we'll be using module federation, we'll be passing it here. If you are using some other plugins, you can pass it here as well. So with plugin, I'll always find some configurations as well in most of the plugins. So here in HTML Webpack plugin, there's one important parameter is template. and it can also create its own HTML template. But since we have defined our own index HTML, and the advantage of defining index HTML here is like we can also define some custom scripts here, we can do some changes here. Otherwise, if we'll let HTML Webpack plugin to create its own dynamically indexed HTML, we'll have limited control over it. So let's provide the path of the one which we have created, public, and then index.html, right? Okay, what will happen if we try to run this now? Let's say I am going to use start. So if you want to run your Webpack, run your Webpack configuration, you'll need to do this. And I will use open switch so that it will open this in my browser. Now I'm gonna run PNPM. So let me just go inside the project first. I will also show you how you can run it from the root as well. Let me go inside job portal and ls clear pnpm start. Now we are getting some errors here. Invalid configuration of Webpack has initialized using in configuration object that doesn't match API schema. Okay. Affecting the output option till how to write compiled. If I go back here, public path file name. Okay, the spelling here is wrong. Let me correct it, and then now I'm getting some other error. Extensions. Alright, so again I did spelling mistake. I hope you might have noticed this while I was writing, so you will not do that mistake. Let me quickly grab my browser here, and you will see okay, we are getting this. It's not able to parse at all. It doesn't understand app component, root, and all these things, so it will not work. Okay, so that's why we need rules here. No rules as such. What is actually, it is some kind of loaders. So loaders has responsibility to load some files and transform it to some other JavaScript. We can also write your custom loaders. That is something advanced that I'm not going to discuss here. If you want, like, you can ask me, I can create tutorial for that. Now, what could be the first loader? The first loader would be the Babel. Let me install some packages, pnpm add, and here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write pnpm add Babel loader, and I will have to install some presets. What is presets? Understand it like some set of functions which is necessary to transpile or transform JavaScript. So these are the basic steps. Babel, preset env, and for React, it has some React related methods which transforms React code into JavaScript. And let's install it at root, since I have already shown you how you can install things in the subdirectory. Now this time I am going to install it in the root. Alright, now we have this here. So what else we can do? So now since we have already installed it, so what we can do here is let's define our rules first. So in rule, the first thing is like test. In regex, you do some tests like test of files. Similarly, we are going to pass a pattern. what will be the pattern is kind of some syntax, what type of files we want to first load. So we want to load JS or JSX. You can write question mark to make X optional, or if you want to keep it pretty simple, then you can do this way as well. JS, you can create a group JSX, one of them if it match one of them. Let's put $1 here so that it will understand this is end of pattern. And now the second parameter is exclude. I mean, there are properties you can pick. So exclude is available, so I'm using it, exclude. And what exclude will do, it will basically allow us to define some path which it will not load, from where it will not load files. So I'm just going to keep it node modules here. If you want like to remove dist or something, you can do that. But since we have started our entry file from here, it won't look up, it will look inside. And okay, the next thing is what loader we want to use. So you can pass loader name directly like Babel loader and done. But we need to also pass the presets, right, which we have installed. Otherwise it will not understand how to parse React, how to parse basic JavaScript syntax. So there's another way to define it. Define this way. In use, what you can do, you can pass loader name with loader, and this will be a Babel loader. And you can define options as well. In options, we can pass an array, and here we can pass presets. Sorry, it will be a Babel slash preset env, not this time. And next we can define Babel slash preset React. This was correct, right? Yeah. Okay, one more thing I would like to do. Generally we define all these things in babel.rc, but to keep things simple, we can also define all these things in Webpack directly. So in Babel RC, if we need to define some options for this, we define this way. So we make this an array, and we pass some options here inside it, and it's an option for runtime automatic. Okay, so what it does, so what it will do here, what is going to do here is like it will, so let's say when we are building app component, we haven't imported React, so it will make React as global. Understand this, that's enough. So it will automatically identify React object. Now if I try to run it again, see what happens. So I'm getting some error. Okay, so probably I have done some mistake, and I hope I've done some mistake here. Use, and this is loader. Okay, options will not be an array, this will be an object. Now I think the configuration is correct now. Babel preset env. Okay, so now we are getting unexpected string. What was the name? Preset env. Okay, we don't define this way. Sorry, let me just fix it quickly. I'll cut it. In options, we can pass presets. and then we can write all these things. So these are the parameters of presheets. I'll have to create one array here. Okay, now let me just try it out and see if this is working. Did I do some mistake? Okay, this one I haven't added one array closing bracket, so let me do it. Let me put one space here, and now if I save it, okay, it's working. Job portal is working. It is able to uh, transpile React code. It's awesome, right? So it's working. Let's say I'm gonna do some changes here and see. Awesome. And you will see like it is automatically reloading. Okay, now I'm going to create one app dot scss file, and let's say if I write what I'm gonna create one class uh, or just put a class here, class name, and this will be title. Okay, and here or simply we can keep it something like brand, that we can modify. The idea is like we want to see whether it is working. So font size, let's keep it 40 pixel. Okay, and font weight, let's keep it 600, and padding 10 pixel. Okay, that's all. Let's keep it as simple as it is. And we want to import this, import dot slash app dot scss. So what do you think, will it work or not? So it's going to fail. It will not be able to parse this file. While parsing this JS and JSX, Babel loader will fail to parse this one. Now how we are going to make it work, right? So we'll define another rule. So on each and every file, it will verify with all the rules. Like if this rule didn't work, then it will check for with other rules. So here we'll be using style loader, css loader, and sass loader. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna install some library, PNPM add sass loader, style loader, and css loader, and I'll keep it in the root. Alright, now that we have already done, we have already installed it, what we can do next is we are gonna define one rule here, and what will be the rule is as we did here in previous rule, we are going to define it in the same way, test. So here in test, what we can do, we can do this way, css, as you can also write this way, is we can make it is optional, or you can simply do this css scss. All right, and we want to tell it that it is the end of pattern. And now we don't need to write here some exclude, so we want all the styles to be passed. Okay, now this is done. We can tell it what loader we want to use. So we want to use loader, and we can pass an array here. And so it will be processed in reverse order. So let's say first thing we need to do is we need to transform uh, SAS to CSS. So we'll be writing SAS loader. From right to left it will work. So once it transforms SAS to CSS, now it needs to understand CSS as well. So we'll be passing CSS loader. So it's a stream actually. So from here to here, and then once all this things are transformed in CSS, we are going to inject it in the style and import it in the index.html. For that we'll be using style.loader. Okay, let's try to run it again and see if we are doing some mistake here. Use loader. Oh, okay, so we don't need to use loader here, since if we define loader it will be a single. We can directly define here in use. You can check all these things in the Webpack documentation as well. Alright, so now cannot find module SAS. Alright, so let me try to install SAS. Okay, if I write PNPM start now, it's working. As you see, this is now in bigger text. Okay, let's say if I do some changes here in apps, yes, let's say if I change this color to green, so it's working. So in some scenario, like you need to load some other files like PDF or something else, then you will have to find a loader for that and configure it here accordingly. So if you want to define some other plugins like module federation, you can define it here, and this way like you can configure all the steps. um, in next video or probably in other videos we can see how we can do the same thing with wheat and also with rollup. Till then, thank you for watching. Have a nice day.